When we talk about Kyrie Irving, I believe we're talking about one of the most skilled players the league has ever seen. And recently he's been put in a conversation against Chris Paul, and even though a lot of people have taken Kyrie Irving's side, I still do think it's pretty obvious Chris Paul is the better player. And even in these discussions, I feel as though Kyrie Irving is being very understated for being just a scorer. I don't think people understand enough that being one of the better scorers in basketball can bring a lot of value no matter what team you are on. Being an extremely valuable on-ball creator and off-ball creator at this time is extremely valuable for what the team was asking for. Every team that Kyrie Irving was on, he brought extreme value as a scorer. It doesn't matter what position he was in. And in 2021, I think Kyrie Irving put all of it together and produced his greatest season in his career. Over this season, Kyrie Irving averaged 27 points per game, 6 assists per game, and shot 40% from 3 on 7 3-point attempts per game, also while averaging a 61% true shooting. He also averaged 8 pick and roll possessions per game and averaged about a 1.03 point per possession. And he also averaged 4 isolation possessions per game while having a 1.11 points per possession, which would be the highest point per possession with anyone with 4 isolation possessions or more that season. And another crazy thing to think about is Kyrie Irving shot 54% in the mid-range this season and 48% on all jumpers. And in my opinion, a lot of this has to do with Kyrie Irving becoming a way better off-ball player. If you add that on top of being one of the best on-ball creators in the NBA and having one of his best pull-up shooting seasons of his career, this is going to add to being one of the best scorers in the league and one of the most efficient. And in this episode of At the Buzzer Sports, we're going to be talking about why Kyrie Irving peaked way higher than you think. Let's get right into it. What does it take to become one of the most skilled scorers the league has ever seen? Kyrie Irving has been held to this standard for the majority of his career, and in 2021, I think this is the season we saw it at its best. When we look at all the off-ball play, whether it was flashing to the middle of the floor, playing off DHOs, cutting to the basket, or just simple relocation, Kyrie Irving thrived as an off-ball player. And this couldn't have come at a better time because the Brooklyn Nets acquired James Harden to be their primary ball handler and decision maker. One of the more used possessions that Kyrie Irving would have would be the DHO off the ball. It could be with other guards, forwards, or centers, just creating more of a downhill angle for him to get to the cup more consistently. One of the basic goals for Kyrie when he was playing off the ball was to either get a wide open jump shot or to get a more favorable matchup on the perimeter. So we're going to see that in this clip right here. As you can see, he's being shadowed throughout the entire defensive possession, but the quick decision making to cut to the basket allows him to get the switch on the bigger defender, allowing him to get a one-on-one possession on the perimeter, and he takes advantage of that pretty easily. And I also think quick decision making is something that goes into very good off-ball play. Kyrie Irving's going to relocate himself on the perimeter to get an easier shot, but to have the balance to pump fake and then gain your balance to dribble to the mid-range and knock down that shot makes it even better. And we can't forget that he shot 41% from 3 on 7 3-point attempts, so DHO plays like this made it almost effortless for him to rise up into an easy jump shot. It's also about being able to find openings within the defense. This is a simple give and go, but as you're going to see, Kyrie's going to cut to the basket and then move to his right just slightly to get the open mid-range jumper. And I know a lot of people may still prefer Cleveland Cavaliers Kyrie Irving just because of the athleticism and the ability to get to the rim as consistently, but in my opinion, Kyrie Irving being a off-ball player, which is what was needed for the Brooklyn Nets at this time, having James Harden and Kevin Durant, is what I slightly prefer, while also having the dribble counters and the balance to be able to get to wherever he wants on the floor and to be extremely efficient from almost every single spot on the floor. As a three-point shooter, catch and shoot three-point shooter, off the dribble three-point shooter, somebody that can finish around the rim extremely well for a guard, somebody that can make any situation in the mid-range work. Kyrie Irving did it all as a scorer in this season. And if we look at Kyrie Irving, a lot of things that you're going to see are counters and having counters to your counters. So if we look at this clip right here, He's going to bring the ball up the floor, and then he's going to have a defender guarding him, which I think is Ish Smith. He's going to go behind the back. Ish Smith cuts that off, and he's going to play in the post and spin into another difficult shot, but it just falls. Kyrie Irving also created space against bigger defenders quite easily. As you can see, Kelly Olynyk is going to be guarding him on the perimeter, which is another off-ball play that created a switch. He's going to snatch back, create a really good mid-range look, and he's going to knock that down. Here you can see him being guarded by a young Lou Dort. He's going to get into the paint of the defense and then rise up for a jump shot, which he knocks down pretty effectively. We see this multiple times throughout this season. Here he's even being guarded by a young SGA, where he's able to stop on a dime and spin into a post fade jump shot, and that falls pretty. Shots can be valuable. Having somebody that can be effective on the court all over the floor is still very valuable no matter what team you play on, because that gives you a multitude of different options that you can go to in a playoff setting, in a regular season setting, or even a clutch time scenario, which gives Kyrie Irving the edge over a multitude of other guards. And last but not least, the last thing I want to talk about is just the creation of space. Kyrie Irving had a multitude of different options he could go to create space, and it was extremely effective in this season. Here you can tell he's one-on-one in the right sideline. He's going to bait the drive to the baseline and then do a half spin to create space and knock down the easy mid-range jump shot. When guarding a 40% three-point shooter, you should play at the level and pick and roll, but Kyrie Irving could split defenses so easily, and the ability to change his speed in his way to the basket was almost always effective. As you can see here, him being hugged in transition in this clip right here, and then being able to stop on a dime and create. All in all, I think Kyrie Irving is one of the best guards of this generation, and to be one of the best scorers at this position for as long as he's been at this time, that should not be unnoticed. That should not be something we just shrug our shoulders at, because I feel as though as time goes along, being a pure scorer is just not being recognized anymore, and people are forgetting how much value that can bring to a team. If you are a guy that teams can put in a multitude of different actions, different sets, and different positions on the floor, that's always going to be recognized on this channel, and that's always going to be valued on this channel. And hopefully after this video, you guys can recognize that Kyrie Irving may have peaked way higher than you guys think. If you guys like this type of content, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We are going to be uploading on this channel 4 to 5 times a week. And if you guys like more content from me, you guys could follow my Twitter at, guys can follow me on TikTok at @TheBuzzerENT. And with all that being said, I will see you guys next time. Peace.